Okay, my friends, here it is. This Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6. And we are once again trying the vertical mode, the mobile mode, because YouTube keeps sending me emails that's like, do YouTube mobile vertical mode so you can reach more audience, so you can reach more, they're going to promote it more. So we're going to see. We're going to see this time how the algorithm, the AI is sort of doing things, okay? We're going to see. Because when I was doing the mobile method, it was getting like 4 times the amount of views. As soon as I switched to the streaming software, YouTube's not promoting it anymore. So we're just going to see an experimentation, all right? So let me know where you guys are and how the sound is. You know, this live stream, you don't get a take. You don't get to do double takes. You just got to do it. So I'm going to shut my phone off. And I want you guys to let me know what this sound check is. Let's see here. Peppers. What'd I say? Okay, guys. Yeah, I got an email from Enoch about the live stream tomorrow with Mark. And apparently it might not be happening because of daylight savings time. We can't get it. Mark's in Australia, and so that makes it, let me see if I can find that real quick. That makes it a little bit more difficult for things. So, in Australia, I don't think Australia observes something so ridiculous as daylight savings time, which is such a joke. So, yes, it seems like we're not going to be doing it tomorrow. Don't quote me on that, though. He hasn't told me for sure. So he said he's waiting to hear back from Mark. So, I know. But it will happen. It will happen like the next week or the week after. Okay, good. Taylor Reindl, Rick Thylian. Am I saying that right? Prodigal Gardener. Yes, thank you. Big Will Dog. Thank you, my friend. I mean, Big Will Dog in the soil. Yes, with his own channel. Donald Hughes, Tammy Dyer, Heather Fox, Andre Puskas, Meyer Lemons, Pilar, Taida, Teats Treats. Yes, my friend. Look, I just wanted to show you. I know this is a little bit too bad. Look. This thing was thriving and beautiful and new growth, dripping with dew, had, gnats and stuff all over it. But then it got to like 33, 32 possibly one time, and just wiped it out. So I was under the impression that it was frost hardy. I guess it's not, obviously. But man, I brought it in as soon as it got even remotely, the pothos and the snake plant and stuff, it did just fine. But this thing, if it even approaches freezing, is not happy. I mean, it is not looking good. It's looking, I think it's alive still, but it is nothing. I mean, it was like thriving, before. It was really good. You think so? Okay, it's good like that? I mean, but why just overnight? It just boom. Now it's all brown and it's not really like catching flies or anything, but I'm gonna put it in the grow room downstairs and we will see how that goes. Yeah, we will see how that goes. What's up, Jay Dixon? Let's see here. It's flowering. Oh yeah, it's flowering. It's super big flower. I mean, it had a flower from previously though, over the summertime. These things were nice violet blooms and stuff. It's still alive, so we're not giving up hope. Of course not. So we'll see. We will see. If anybody else has any carnivorous plants, feel free to send them to the P.O. box because I will grow them out, definitely. Yeah? Let's see here. Argo Bargle says, Aussie here who lives in Michigan. Some states still had daylight savings. In Australia? Is that right? Wow. Pam, yeah, I know. It's, whoops. I'm tapping on the comment as if I want to put it up on the screen. We're going to go to the streaming software anyways, but I just wanted to see. I just want to see, because the AI is already controlling things, guys. Man, so much is happening with the AI front, and I'm really into it as far as seeing what's going on. The new technologies that they drop is just crazy, so fast. It's all happening so fast. Chat GPT, I just don't even know. I mean, what's even the point of content creators already anymore? You can just say in Chat GPT, you know, I'm a gardening YouTube influencer. Give me 10 viral video ideas that will blah, 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 that will keep people engaged till the end. Make me a video about aerated compost tea and make it engaging, make it so that people want to subscribe afterwards. Boom. And it makes it all. It's just, so it's, or it at least gives you all the prompts, all the points, all the ideas. I mean, I'm looking at that just like, so what's the point then? What is the point? So it's making my whole profession really just seem kind of like maybe you got in too late, about 10 years too late to all of it. And now it's the way of AI and Chat GPT. Wait a second, we got here Brian Airy. Thank you, my friend. $5. I appreciate your consistent contributions financially, but energetically, especially across both channels. Thank you very much. Says, thank you for everything you do. You are welcome, my friend. So yeah, it's you'll probably hear me talk a lot about AI and stuff, but it's because it's happening so fast, and most people don't understand the scale of what is going to happen when AI is taking over all forms of our online interactions. And think about how much is online now, how much of your life, everything. Without, I mean, every one of us using the internet right now. Your banking, your shopping, your filling out application, everything is just all requires the internet. And it's all changing very rapidly, guys. Go to the Thrive Like a Viking channel. If you don't understand what I'm saying, watch the last week's Thrive Like a Viking. And it's, we start by doing a 10-minute meditation, of course, get the mind right. But then I discuss some emerging things in AI and how it's going to influence things. But then I give you several, in the description of that video, I give you several things you can watch yourself, podcasts, yes, with people in the know, people really in the know, much more than me, of course. So check it all out, guys. It's well worth doing. Hello, Nancy DeWalt. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Yes, Big West says, get StreamYard and a VPN. I do have StreamYard, yeah. The streamers at Ottawa protests were being throttled. Yes. Yeah, it's, the VPN and stuff, the AI, that's only for a moment. That's only going to work for a moment. But the AI is just unimaginably powerful already in its capabilities. So it's, everything's changing. Yeah. Mom Computer says AI will put podcasters and others out of business. It's a takeover. Yes, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. Somebody on the, I think I said this last week, someone on the Discord chat, I think it was Sweeping Page maybe, that took one of my videos and plugged the video into an app, an AI app, and said, make me a 10-minute podcast explaining the summary of this video. And boom, just instantaneously, this podcast came out with the two people's voices and explaining perfectly the video, perfectly summarizing the video. And so, and they were using the intonation was right on point. And I played this to several people that I know, my friends and family. And I said, hey, check out this podcast that's discussing one of my videos. And they were like, wow, that's cool. So what podcast is that? Oh man, they really hit it on the point. The 5 things that plants need, they were listening. And then I was like, yeah, guess what? That whole thing doesn't exist. Those people don't exist. It's not a real podcast. That voice doesn't exist. None of it exists. It's all AI. It was all made up. And they were just like, what? And that's just the pedestrian level of stuff that's available. That's not military grade, privately funded stuff like that. And remember, guys, this is the worst it will ever be. It only will improve in its capabilities. Everything's changing in that regard. Nancy DeWalt, $10. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your support. Yes, for good to see you. Yes, good to see you as well. Thank you. AB, what are the benefits of seedling sprout tea? I don't have a lot of experience with that, actually. I don't have a lot of experience. Um, I don't like the smell of if sprouts go bad at all. And there's just not, maybe I could investigate more on that in the future, but there's not a clear reason for that for me at the moment. Donald Hughes, $5 via PayPal. Thank you, my friend. Says Viking Knowledge, question mark. Put new bed in for sweet potatoes with 8 inches of sandy soil. Have room for 4 more inches of something and fertilizer and what else? Okay, so you've been having issues the past 2 years with sweet potatoes. Now, I don't know what the problem was this year with your sweet potatoes, as far as it looks like they weren't getting enough light or enough water or enough something. But if it was over fertilization, you would have had a lot more sweet potatoes, but real small ones. You only had just a handful, just a few tiny sweet potatoes. So something else is the issue there. Um, Now, you 8 inches of sandy soil, have room for 4 inches of something else. So you could plant the slips, 70% into the sandy soil, and then put leaf mold, or leaves over the top to keep it nice and moist. Put some type of mulch layer over the top, or some kind of I grew great sweet potatoes utilizing the trash bag method from my earlier videos, utilizing the trash bag method and just leaf mold. Literally just, but leaf mold that's decomposed, not just leaves stuffed in a bag. Like decomposed black leaf mold, like one step away from being, leaf mold soil. And I just stuck them slips in there as a last ditch effort. I was like, well, what am I going to do? I got all these slips. So, and I don't have any more room. So I just grabbed the trash bag because I knew obviously about that method, rolled it down, put the leaf mold, 20, 30 gallons of leaf mold because I had heaping mounds of it, and poked the holes in the bottom, stuck the slips in there. And of course, you have to water it. You have to keep it watered, of course. But I had great sweet potatoes. I would dump that thing upside down, the whole bag stuffed full of sweet potatoes. So it works really good. It works really good. Let's see. Big Will Dog, I see an email from you. Probably asking about the garlic. No, I haven't planted it yet. Haven't planted it yet. Haven't even really started the garden, the full-on remodel yet. But I usually actually plant garlic closer to Thanksgiving than now. So you have plenty of time. Plenty of time. Teats Treats, thank you, my friend. $2 says, daughter found a slug. Dad, we need the ultimate slug solution. Yeah. Yep. A couple of slugs, no problem. But sometimes you get decimated by them. Yes, Mountainside Homestead. Hello, my friend. Says, hello, Nate. I'm happy I have finally caught alive. Really scary to think about what's to come with the AI. It is. It can be. It can be scary just because it's unknown. And it's, man, if you listen to people in the know, like Mo Gaudat, the former chief business officer executive of Google, he says it is the most powerful technology, the most existential threat to human society that we've ever faced, ever. It will be the most powerful technology ever. That in the next 2 to 10 years, we will see more technological change than in the last 200 years. He gave a figure like that, something insane. All right? Think of all the technological change that your great-grandparents or that your grandparents have seen. If you're like 80 years old right now, think of how much technological change you've seen. And it's estimated, not just from Mo, but from many other people that I'm hearing these figures, in the next 2 to 10 years, you will see more technological change than all that time combined. What? Man. Oh, Stonemason says, Nate, do you need any IMO4 for your new beds? I have extra and just live just north of you in Auburn. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I will let you know if I do, but probably not. Probably not, because I'm gonna do everything in a very specific way. And my soil here is already bursting with life. I mean, bursting with life to the point where it's too rich. It's gotten too rich. Too many years of not too almost too rich, though. It could be said. I just get the feeling it's too rich. And from so many years of chop and drop and stuff, that there's pockets that are really rich and pockets that are not so rich. So the whole revamp is going to get everything moved up and get it into its new home here in the next month, and it will recover over the winter time. And it's going to have all the microorganisms still in there from all the practices and everything, still super alive. Yeah? Yes, Andre Puskas says, I listen to Mo Gaudat, and he is so great, and I'm afraid scary right about the future AI. Yes, yes. You can just tell that he's absolutely right about the AI that is coming. And that he says it's the most important thing everyone needs to be focusing on and thinking about is the transition that life is going to come in life in the next 10 years. What's up, Terry Goody? Yes, yes, yes. Melanie McManus, hello from Alberta. Yes, hello from USA. Leland, $4. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the contribution. Ripaluras says, hello from Finland. Yes, hello. Finland, right? The birthplace of the sauna. It's almost sauna season here, guys, the sauna. And so we are going to be doing the garden reno, and when we do it, it's going to be starting from the area where the sauna goes outwards. That way we can put up the sauna. I've got a Russian-made tent sauna and a stainless steel stove, and then I got some rocks from Finland, some real good sauna rocks. It makes a big difference getting the high-quality sauna rocks. And pour that water on there. Man, it's amazing. It's amazing. I just can't wait for it, But I like it to get plenty cold to where it's, you really want that blast of heat from the sauna. Having a sauna, a wood-fired sauna, to go into, 3 to 6 nights a week is outstanding. Mathidicus says, cleaning the webs out of my sauna at the moment. Might be stoking her up tonight. Yes, it's getting a little bit cool. Definitely. Whoa, Melanie says, snowing right now. I'd love a sauna. Yes, check it out. Morzh, Morzh sauna. Yeah, there's also a link in the description to a very mobile, lightweight sauna that I also have. They're tent saunas. And so the link in the description is Overland Sauna, so you can check that out. It'll at least give you ideas and stuff. So it's a wonderful thing to have. It totally transforms the winter. We're going into winter time now where we can't be growing and where, guys, how's this thing sounding? Is it nice and clear? We're going into winter time where we can't be growing things outside, and so we can't just have all this time, this downtime of not growing, of not like being outside. And so the sauna and the ice bath is a wonderful, it makes winter, totally transforms the whole experience of winter because you've got that deep warmth to the bone and it carries you through the whole day and next day and everything. Then we also are growing microgreens and mushrooms inside downstairs, which is wonderful. So we still got that fresh greens. All right. Okay, good. Thank you guys for confirming. Val says, sounds good. Daniel, sounds perfect. Sound is supreme. Thank you, B. Hendricks. Jay Dixon, the thing that got me was actinomycetes, abscess. Yes, Creative Soil says, I opt out of the new AI future. I get that. I totally get that. I really do. And that's fine. And that's fine for you. But understand that they're not concerned about you. They're not concerned about me, even. They're concerned about the 5-year-old right now. They're concerned about maybe the 10-year-old, but the 5-year-old. And the 0-year-old right now. That's what they're concerned about. Because by the time they're born and they're growing, they won't know a life without it. They won't know any other life without it. You still remember the days before the internet, and so do I. And the days before any of that even started, when things were just totally different. But this new generation, even the 15-year-olds and stuff now, they don't know a life that's any different. And it will only get more and more. They will just take it as a fact of life. AI is everywhere. You have to use AI for everything. All of your devices are surveillance, devices. But it's for your better. It's for AI, so that it can give you customized recommendations on your news feed and stuff. So it's all justified. So that's what they're going to know. Yeah? And throughout history, when a new technology arises that gives one group a competitive advantage over another group, the group that adopts the technology will always outperform and win over the group that doesn't adopt the technology. Yes? And so that eventually the group that doesn't adopt the technology will just go by the wayside. They'll just fade off into the sunset and be no more, because the supreme dominance of the technology, what it enables this group of people to do. Okay, so it's that's great that you opt out of it. I understand that completely, but understand that that's a dying breed, my friend. We are dying breeds. So, oh man, Pilar says that's so creepy, and people will get even more lazy. Talk about so man, they took even something like content creation and made it so that now you don't even have to create content. You just talking to the thing. Give me 5 ideas about viral videos and make it compelling so that blah blah blah, and it just comes up with like perfect ideas. But there's something, I'm like struggling right now internally. So that's why I'm talking about it with you guys, because I'm at that point. I'm like, okay, so I understand this about you have to adopt the technology or you'll just fade off into the sunset. And you're at a severe disadvantage to the people that do adopt the technology. But at the same time, inside, it's like, nah, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be a part. I don't want to promote any of that. I don't want to be a part of that whole thing. I just want to come up with my own ideas and still do it organically, So, yeah, Mom Computer says your power and knowledge will be absorbed by AI. You will be eliminated. I know. Yes, AK Froggy says spiritually, those who do not adopt it will thrive like a Viking. Yes. See, this is all kind of stuff we talk about on the Thrive Like a Viking channel. So I don't want to blur the lines between the two channels, but it's just really, it's really important right now to me. So the Jane W says, please comment on peroxide rise and fish emulsion Solin with Bach. Soda pre-planting? Sorry, I don't understand the question. I don't do a peroxide rinse on things, although I would like to on the garlic this year. I think I would like to on the garlic this year, though I typically do not do a peroxide rinse. I have in the past about certain things, in particular powdery mildew on flower buds. But other than that, did you, Creative Soul, you made a wood-fired sauna with clear construction plastic? Is it different than the one last year? Because I remember you said the one last year didn't perform as well as you would have liked. Joe Slack says, I have mice in my raised beds. How do I get rid of them? If I put poison now, will the residue of the poison be gone after a 6-month Canadian winter? Now, poison is always the very last resort. It's always, very last resort, especially if you've got creatures, if you live in an urban environment, it can be one thing where there's not owls and there's not hawks and there's not fox and there's not whatever you might have in your location that consume the mice. But remember that anything that consumes the poisoned mouse will also consume the poison. And although it typically doesn't immediately annihilate them after just one dose, it's not good for them. Yeah, it's not good for them because it basically takes away their ability for the blood to clot. It thins their blood so much that they just hemorrhage to death. So it's not a really good thing. But if it's either put down some poison or you just lose all your crops all the time, then the thing is clear. I tried everything I could years ago. This place, when I started this garden back here, and I just brought everything into the basement: the sweet potatoes, the winter squash, onions, garlic. I just brought it all into the basement, and right away infested with rats. Because rats, okay, like city rats, infested with the rats. And I was like, man, this is crazy. This is even more intense than the Norwegian wood rats in the mountains of Northern California. And those things were disgusting and gnarly and huge, and they live in colonies. But they were easier to control because those Norwegian wood rats were not used to people, and they were not used to being trapped, basically. So these city rats, the only ones that survive are the ones that are really leery of metal things and traps. So the rats here, I couldn't trap them. I set traps everywhere. I was setting traps everywhere and never got a single one. And I knew all the tricks because I was trapping Norwegian wood rats in Northern California left and right. I mean, tons of them, because they inhabit these huge old logs left over from the logging in like the 30s and 40s. I'm talking like 10 feet in diameter, 8 feet, 6 feet in diameter. These logs take hundreds of years to decompose, and that fell, And these Norwegian wood rats will colonize the whole thing. And so you'll hear them scurrying around at night and stuff. Well, and they're big, much bigger than these rats. But you can just trap them immediately. You set a trap and that night, boom. And I even I know it sounds brutal, but I was in the grow rooms and stuff were infested with them. And so, and they would go up into our greenhouses and they would eat the cambium layer. They would eat the layer around the stalk of the plant and effectively kill the plant. So once I started seeing just randomly plants in an otherwise sea of green, randomly plant here, brown, dead. Plant here, brown, dead. So I had to investigate, and I saw that they were chewing the bark off of the inside of the plant. And so I started trapping them, and they had no defenses against the traps. Bam, 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 the same night that I set the traps. But there was too many of them. So what I did was I made a trap out of a 55-gallon drum. I know, plug your ears if you're sensitive. But this is why it's Garden Like a Viking, okay? Because you have to do whatever it takes. And so I made a 55-gallon drum, and I put a dowel rod across, and then I put a like a can of some variety was right here, and I made it so that the can would spin easily. And then I painted peanut butter. I smeared peanut butter onto the can, so the rat would walk out onto the small little dowel rod and get up onto the can and just fall into the bucket, or the 55-gallon drum. That was full of water. Okay, I had about a foot of water in it, 2 feet of water in it. And the first night that I made that thing, I was like, it woke me up because I was living right there, right by the greenhouses. And it woke me up from my teepee. And I got out and I looked, and there was like a dozen rats in there all trying to it was crazy. Okay, that was the first night. And so it eventually though worked. Everything worked. So it was kind of gruesome, guys. So anyways, the rats. So then when I came here and I was infested with those rats, they were eating all the produce down there. I was like, man, well, I'm just going to do the same things that I did on the mountain when I annihilated the whole colony, because we had to. It was either us or them, and it was not going to be us. So I started doing those things here, and none of them worked. Not one rat got the trap. Not one rat got into the bucket. Not a single one. And so I was like, whoa. But yet, I would put food around the trap and all that would be gone. But then they never touch the traps. They're just, my only thought is the only ones that survive to reproduce are the ones that are super skittish and leery of that kind of thing. And so I had to, okay, so I tried everything and the whole house was becoming infested. They were crawling up through the walls and I heard them in the attic and stuff. So I was like, all right, this is it. After like a month of trying to get rid of them like that, so I had some big Jardale squash, and they had, huge storage squash that last a full year in storage. And they had chewed a huge fat hole inside of it and emptied the whole inside of all of them. I had like 6 of them up there. And so I said, okay. That's not going to work. And they ruined them all. So I put rat poisoning in each one of them. The very next day, it was all gone. I thought, whoa. So I did it again, put more rat poison. The very next day, all of it was gone. And so I did that like 3 times, put the poison in there. And within 5 days, nothing. No more rats, period. Not a peep, not a single sound from any of the rats. But then about 2 weeks later, I started smelling dead stuff up in the walls. So it was kind of disgusting for some time, but it was either that or lose all my crops, lose all the storage stuff that I had done. And this was in like 2020 or 2019. It was like, I didn't know what was going to be happening, with the world. So I needed to like store my stuff. And, yeah, so that's my story with that. And then So I removed all that stuff once the rats were wiped out, totally gone. I removed all that stuff. My mom came over and we made it. We cleaned the place with like gloves and everything to make sure every morsel of poison was gone. And we found all kinds of dead rats. And then I got a cat, Shiva. Shiva just showed up at my dad's house. And I collected them, Stephanie Stevens. I collected the dead rats, of course. Not from the walls, though. They just stopped smelling after a couple weeks. They're like mummified in the walls. But so I got a cat. Shiva showed up to my dad's house, and she was a little kitten, just like that big. And I got her, and even though she's a dwarf cat, and she's like got stubby little legs, and she's just real tiny cat, just the smell or whatever is enough to keep them away. No mice, no rats have been back since. They don't even think about it. No chipmunks. She kills the chipmunks. So the cat is the ultimate answer. That it's the smell, they won't even bother. Even though a rat could easily take this cat, I would think, maybe. But a full-grown rat, Shiva would never mess with it. But it's just the smell, the presence of the cat. These rats know, stay away. So there's my huge rant on that, and my roundabout way to say, just get a cat if you can, but if not, try everything else first. But a little bit of poison is not the end of the world. Mountainside Homestead says, I definitely will be getting YouTube Premium. I just got another ad, about one every 5 minutes. Guys, it's just crazy. YouTube is just pushing you into things, or pushing me into things and stuff. So here I'm doing the mobile app that they want you to use and stuff in the vertical method. So just whatever. We'll just see. Thank you guys for sticking with it, though. But definitely, if you've not gotten YouTube Premium, you should get YouTube Premium, because it takes all of the ads away from all your stuff. You can listen to music, you can watch 2-hour-long podcasts, not a single ad. It frees the space in your mind, so you're not getting invaded by ads. Can't see the forest says, see, your name is so long that your question or your statement gets cut off, so I can't really read it. So also 55-gallon barrel with a hinged pull held up with magnets so it would drop until they get their full weight. So I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds useful. Brandy says, how do I keep chickens out of the gardens? They're free range and can beat any setup. Well, you just have to devise a way because chickens in the garden do not mix. We tried that many, many times, uh, and it just didn't work. They would just, the way that they just scratch and everything. Now, I do have, well, when I went down to Tennessee, he had the guineas, which we had on the mountain, but I never like paid attention to them. They weren't like mine or anything. And so the guineas apparently don't scratch in the same way. They just go through and eat the insects, which is really good. So there's that. Big West says, when I was a kid, there was no escaping ads. Man up, crybabies. There you go. Well, there you go. Yeah, Alex Kunin says, you're just torturing yourself more with the ads. It definitely is. It fractures your mind. I mean, you every few minutes just gives you a jolt and takes your attention out of what you're doing. That's why, man, I resisted for like a couple of years. But then I was like, all right, I'm getting YouTube Premium. $12, $13, $14 a month. I don't know what it is now. Not a single ad. You can just listen to a podcast for 2 hours straight and you're not interrupted, period. And so it just like gives you that calmness back. Your attention's not so fractured. Because I don't watch TV, don't listen to the radio. I don't have a TV, don't listen to the radio, none of that kind of stuff. Ooh, the prodigal gardener. That's a good idea. A chicken tractor allows them to free range and control where they go. Yeah, that's one method, definitely. Not as great free range. The best way is to keep them out of the garden, in my opinion, because and you can, if you have to put clip their wings for one, and if you have to put like 10-foot netting or fencing or something, if it has to go around the garden, you do whatever it takes to keep them out. Meyer Lemon says, premium saves my sanity. Yes, this is right. Can't see the forest says, that's odd since my comments are within the character limit. So I saw all of that one. Argo Bargo says, chickens even ate my onion shoots. Now they're fenced. Yes. Taylor Reindl says, too late to start FAA? No, definitely not. Especially if you keep it indoors. If you keep it relatively warm, it will be no problem. It will be no problem. And you can just strain off what you need. Yeah? Ooh, Miller, I could not have said this better myself. Says, the premium is certainly worth it. It's less about being able to have an ad-free viewing experience and more so about having an advertisement-free lifestyle. That's exactly spot on. I couldn't say it better myself. It's more about having an advertisement-free lifestyle. Yes. No television, no magazines really, no drug advertisements. When I go to people's house that have the TV on, I just see one drug after the other. Just one after the other. These drug advertisements where everybody's all looped out and everything's in slow motion, like everyone's on the drugs or whatever it is, and and then they got a little jingle, at the end. Oh, 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 Santa, Like they've got little jingles, and it's just like, drug advertisements are made by behavioral engineers, behavioral scientists, guys. These are not just some guy in the background going, hey, let's just make this and put this scene in there. No, these are literal scientists, very intelligent people saying, this is what's going to make them need this drug. Show them this image, followed by this image with this music, and they know. So the pharmaceutical stuff is insane. Brandy says, I hope they stop pharmaceuticals from advertising in the USA. Yeah, me too. Me too. Terry Goody says, see, I keep tapping on it. Terry Goody says, haha, I don't take pharmaceuticals. Yes, so of course me either. But here's how it works. As you know, if you guys are part of the Thrive Tribe, we go through this in depth. But the subconscious mind will always recreate its internal image. And so when it's viewing these images of all these people being sick and all these little ailments and stuff like that, and Do you have this or that? Do you have how to manage your ulcerative colitis? Are you frequently running to the bathroom? And the subconscious mind grabs hold of these things and begins to confirm them in its reality. It's called the mental law of confirmation. And you will begin to have these symptoms. You will begin to have these ailments. Your body will literally begin to create these ailments. Yes, this is how it works. And so they know that just keep repeating this to these people and they'll all think that they have these things. And many of them will literally develop these things. So just keep showing them. Repetition is key. So, yeah, guys. H-Wit 9000 says, I've been using the Humanure composting system for 10 years and will never go back to any other system. Can you please post your system to the Discord chat in the composting section? Can you take pictures? Can you describe your system? So many people. I get a lot of questions about that. And my number one thing is most people are not at the point where I would use their manure, honestly. They have got so many chemicals involved in their life, preservatives, antibiotics, phthalates, all different kinds of endocrine disrupting chemicals. It all gets passed through. And so to then use that and apply it to the crops, that's why I don't use sewage sludge. I did for a brief time many years ago. I don't use the biosolids. They've renamed it. Sewage sludge, a nightmare. Total nightmare. Big Will Dog says, Nate, it's also known as psychosomatic symptoms. Yes, exactly. Psychosomatic symptoms, where the mind grabs hold of it and then manifests it into an actual physical symptom. So you're like, well, look, I do have this symptom. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't have to. You weren't going to without the mind. The mind has created it, and now it seems real. So Brandy says they also buy media advertising spots to keep them from investigating them or talk negatively about them. Oh man, once you start going into it, you realize how deep it goes. The whole system is owned. Okay, Mo says, was going to do the Cadillac fish fertilizer since I have so many fish. Is it really just a light dusting of leaf mold? I seem to remember you saying not to use too much in the bucket in the live. In fact, I wish I would not have even put that part in there. That's something I do after many years of making it. But that's not what everyone should be doing. Just do sugar and fish. Just equal parts brown sugar and fish, mix it together, put an additional 10% sugar on top, and forget about it, okay? Don't bother with the dusting of the leaf mold. So many people have sent me pictures and emails and stuff. Hey, what do you think's wrong with my FAA? And I see like a shovel load of soil in there, and oh man, I should have just never said anything about the leaf mold. Because their lines are blurred between the leaf mold and the JDOM system and the KNF. Okay, so KNF never uses leaf mold, even though JDOM system comes from KNF. It is essentially the distilled method of KNF. It's the son of the creator of KNF has created or formulated the JDOM system, and so in the KNF they never use leaf mold. They use IMO instead. So that's just my thing that I've done over the years. I found it to produce a better result, to digest more effectively, but it's not necessary. And so a Nas Azul says, can I use JDOM for commercial farming? Yes, definitely. That's really what it's designed for. Very, very, very low cost, though not free, not even close, but lowest cost of all types of systems for commercial farming. That's really what it's ideal for. If you're trying to have a business where your costs need to be as close to zero as possible to still produce a result. That's JDOM is a commercial farmer. So he is doing it. He's growing things for the profit. Yeah, and so that the profit margins matter big time. So let's see. Yes, Brian says you need to have a clean lifestyle before you do that. Yes, talking about using the manure, definitely. Um, so let's see here. Right, Miller says, though not free, not even close. Well said. Right, of course. There is no, it's not free. Yeah, not even close. So the here's a couple things, guys. Uh, I made my tallow this week, and based upon one of you guys' suggestions, I did the water method. See, previously when I've been making tallow for many years now, I just add the tallow and I don't add any, or I add the suet and not any water. So I added water this time, and it took longer to make. It's and it kind of added an extra step. It was like an extra step that wasn't really that necessary, and I don't really notice a different result. I guess the result though is that there's not even the slightest bit of impurities at the bottom of the thing. Typically, when I make it, I will melt the suet on the lowest heat you possibly can. That is of utmost importance. It has to be the low, real low. And because if you do it even on low, medium instead of low, then you will get a taste of like burnt chicken. Or not burnt, but of like old. Have you been to like, especially in the South, they have the like gas stations have tons of fried food. So you'll go in there and you'll smell like when I was in Louisiana and stuff. Every gas station seemed to reek of old fried chicken. Okay, and that's kind of what this can smell like. That if you burn it, but if you or if you heat it to where it's like crackling and stuff, you don't want to even do that. You don't even want to see it boiling at all. Low heat possible, and then you will get it's totally smellless and flavorless. Essentially, it's a light smell to it, but not much at all. So you melt it, and typically then I would just strain it through like a couple layers of cheesecloth. I would then throw away the cheesecloth and let it dry, and everything is fine. But some of the impurities would be at the bottom. Not much though. So, but now with the water method, see now, and after you boil it, you melt it, you strain it off, but then you have to separate the water from the fat. And so I put it outside where it was almost freezing temperatures. I put it outside overnight. And then in the morning time, I took it and it was a huge block of perfectly white tallow with the water that turned to like gelatin with the impurities in it at the bottom. So I flipped it upside down, scraped that off, and then remelted the remain. And I mean, I probably will do it like that again, actually. That was my first time using the water method. At first, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just an extra step. But then once I saw the contents of the what I took off, I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. So, and then now I'm tasting, I've been cooking with the result. We did like 8 of these in one batch. And so that's going to last me quite some time. Brian says, Nate, what's the shelf life of the tallow? I have yet to come across the upper limit of the shelf life. I have some that is 3 years old. And you just pour it, you just hot pack it, pour it into here while it's super hot, put the lid on, screw it down, and that's it. It seals, and it's just sitting in the basement. And I have some that's 3 years old, and it's perfectly fine. And then once you start using it, you can just leave it out, and it just stays soft, so long as you're using it within a reasonable amount of time, within like a month after you pop it open. But so yeah, I'll probably do the water method again, just because I like what I like what it got rid of at the bottom. You know, it feels like that's probably a good way. Talk to me in a couple years when I do this method several more times. I might have a different opinion on it. But for now, the water method, it's worth the additional step. So long as you have a place to cool the tallow. Yeah. So long as you have a place to cool the tallow. Jerry, yes, the tallow freezes well. Definitely, tallow freezes well. Although, like I said, I have no need to freeze it because it stays perfectly shelf stable, just sitting out like that once you can it, which is just hot packing it basically. So, yeah. Yeah, Wayne Corelli says clarified butter for your cooking oil at 482 degrees smoke point. Yeah, clarified butter, or also known as ghee, is one of the highest smoke points, followed closely by tallow. Tallow has a much higher smoke point than lard even. Yeah, and butter's got a ridiculously low smoke point. I mean, you'll burn butter real fast. And olive oil, we don't really want to cook with it because it oxidizes real fast and easily. We want to use olive oil raw, definitely. Coconut oil's got a good smoke point to it, but tallow, yeah, I fry steaks in tallow, ribeyes. I fry steak in that all the time. Or when you brown a roast before you, like last night we made a sweet and sour pot roast with some of the Bates, some of the remainder of the leftovers of the Bates beef from last time. Just had to use up every last bit of it before this new batch comes in. Made some sweet and sour pot roast which was just delicious. Homegrown potatoes. We use the French fingerling, which are some of my favorite ever. Homegrown carrots, homegrown onions, garlic, homegrown tomato sauce, tomato paste, and some apple cider vinegar made by my friends, the Amish. So it was just like an incredible meal. And then the Bates family beef, which was amazing. And the whole thing was so delicious. And then I topped it with some king green onions because we just made last night the first batch of kimchi for the season. Yes? Oh, yes. This is going to be amazing. The kimchi, we're trying a whole new recipe this year. Whole new method, whole new recipe. I've been making it several years in one way, but now I'm making it this way. And I can tell already this way is going to be phenomenal. I can tell already. But the ingredients are more, to make the paste, I had to buy arami, seaweed. I'm not sure how you say it. It's a particular type of seaweed. It was very expensive though, all things considered. For a little bag, it was like $15 for a small little bag. But I can tell that's going to make a big difference. Along with, so the paste, you add dates into the paste. It's just amazing. So I'm really looking forward. I can just tell already that it's going to be delicious. And for the spicy peppers, we used the Loot Shower. Every time I say it, I say that I can't say it right. I need to learn how to say it. Eden 3D says, guys, drop a like for non-AI Nate. Exactly. Yes, please do. And then it's going to start glitching. But AI, Nate. We use the Loot Shower peppers. One of you guys sent me, and these are a Hungarian paprika. Now, I thought that they were going to be like the Ivarski peppers in the sense that they're sweet or mild. But the Loot Showers are spicy. They're spicy Hungarian paprikas, so long as you leave the seeds in. Yeah? And so we use that as the spicy pepper blend for the kimchi. And guys, we use the homegrown ginger, the homegrown garlic, the homegrown everything as much as possible. And so, wow, I just can tell it's going to be amazing. There's no doubt about that. Jerry, the only method that I use to can this is, Jerry says, what process do you use to can the tallow? Very simple. After we clarify it, after we do the process, either you use just the straining method or you use the water clarification method. Then once you reheat it, until it takes a long time, but once you reheat it, then on the lowest possible heat, the whole thing's totally liquefied. Then you will just pour it into the jars. That's it. And you just leave a little bit of headspace, put the lid on, screw it, and that's it. It seals up, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Because there's no impurities. Now, in the past, I've had a couple of cans sort of go bad, but not, they've never broke the seal. It was the impurities at the bottom turned green mold, like botulism mold. And so I would throw the whole thing out. But we're not going to have that with this method because the water method, there's no residue with it. There's nothing there to turn to spoil. So I'm liking it so far, and the flavor is, of course, amazing. So I just had to get all the old suet out, the old bones out. We made bone broth and all that stuff because we're getting a new batch from the Bates family beef. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Wayne Corelli. Yeah, I do already put them through very, very hot water. They're already hot by the time I get them. I don't pour the boiling hot fat into here. I guess I thought that goes without saying, but I already use very hot water. Um, Leland, sounds like something AI Nate would say. Yes, sounds like something AI Nate would say. No, I'm not AI. The AI responses, guys, are just super like overwhelmingly positive and chipper, and they're just, oh, my friend, and I mean, it speaks exactly like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Kathy Hayes says your kimchi recipe. Yes, I will do that recipe after I confirm that it's worthy. Definitely. But I have a video that I made a couple of years ago about how I've been making kimchi up to that point, which is still really good. I just, you get kind of tired of like the same thing year after year. So I like to experiment. And so we experimented with this new method. It's probably going to be really good, but we don't know. We don't know. Brandy, how many fingers do I have? Molding, yeah. No, that was how they got us in the beginning. It's like, oh, to tell if it's an AI image, just look at the fingers and the teeth. The AI can't do fingers and teeth real well. So you'd see all like 8 fingers or 27, way too many teeth and stuff. That's all a thing of the past. And the AI is absolutely spot on now. You cannot tell the difference. This, I've yet to see this kind of, live stream, shooting from the hip, kind of thing. I've yet to see anything like that. But surely in the privately funded military type laboratories, that exists for sure. The greatest cutting edge technology is not what they give us on Instagram and YouTube. There's not a YouTube video about the top level technology that exists. So, let's see. Taylor Reindl says, I tried the raw bone marrow and raw beef liver. The marrow was amazing uncooked. Liver was rough. Did you chop it up and you put it with the maple syrup? Because then it's just a pleasant little, you just sip it. You just sip a little water and you just swallow it that way. It's so easy. Yes, Brandy, raw liver all the time. We eat raw liver. Brian says, our track record of doing the right thing isn't that good. Yeah, and that's the problem with AI. Becoming super intelligent, super power that is capable. And it's kind of like, a gun. The gun doesn't do anything. The gun doesn't harm any people. I don't even want to say it, the word here. The gun doesn't do anything to people. It's the people that do it. They use the tool in a malicious way. But the instrument itself is neutral. But the person behind it is what guides it. And so having this incredible capabilities now is just going to exacerbate the it's an extension. It's going to amplify the desires or the motives of those wielding it. Yes. So that's the scary part, not the technology itself. It's what it's going to enable certain people to do. And don't be under the delusion that it's going to be free technology for everyone. Everyone's going to have unlimited AI, blah, blah, blah. No, that's just in the beginning. That's just to get everything trained. That's just to get everyone hooked on it and stuff. There won't be long and it will all become privatized. There will be little pedestrian versions, but all this, it's like an oracle. It will be able to predict the future. And so that will all be privatized, guys. Have no mistake. So let's see. What are you guys talking about garlic? What is Val talking about garlic? I've seen some garlic mentions, but I can't put my finger on the question. Sam Potzik, nice sticker there. Wayne says, can you explain where you plan on posting content now, like the mushroom videos? I'm gonna continue doing content for sure. It's just I've taken a little break recently because it's like everything's just like changing really fast, and everyone else is using AI and stuff, and it's just really wild. So I've taken a little break because I've doing in-person things. The shed building that we got for mixing the fertilizers, that is was delivered this past week. We had to pour a concrete slab for that. So the concrete truck and all that stuff, that takes days to do, all set the forms and everything. And then the thing got delivered. Me and my dad were digging the trench to run the electrical. And then Monday, the mixing machine that I've purchased is going to be there. So just little things like, well, not little, but like things like that. So that, and now today, then I'm going to have to go and order, pallets of the nutrients and stuff like that, so that we can have some available for next year. Plenty of them available. Because last year we sold out like that, the Viking granular. So we're going to go ahead and make more just for the people that want it. If you don't want it, no problem. So Wayne Corelli, Father Son Project, Heal, yeah. Yes. And that's, there's like when you get older and stuff and you start doing things, you realize how valuable that knowledge is that the older generation, like your dad might have or something, or your grandmother about cooking, and so it's really valuable to just observe all of that. And when you're young and stuff, you don't really necessarily see the value, or you don't really, it doesn't hit home like it does when you think, okay, well, if this person was gone now, because like your dad's just always done your electrical, for example, or whatever, then it's like, well, okay, well, once this person's gone, then what? Well, you need to learn how to do it yourself. And so you've got a golden opportunity. So now it's like there's like the past handful of years when I do things with people like that, I observe in a whole different way. In a way, I'm asking plenty of questions so that I can at least do some of this myself, because that was never my thing, but I need to, yeah. So it's adds a different dimension, yeah, the older that you get and the older that those people get. And it's just different now. I don't see the younger generation learning these things in the same way that the old generation does. Because when I went to high school, when I was in elementary, middle school, high school, the whole thing was, if you want to make something of your life, you got to go to college. You got to go to college, get a 4-year degree at least, if you want to make anything of your life. Don't worry about doing little menial things like trades, like it was looked down upon to be a plumber or heating and air, HVAC, an electrician. No, you got to go to college. You don't want to do any of those little trade jobs. Well, okay, but now here we are, and there's like no one doing the trades. Things that need to be done, things that actually need to be done. All the college degree stuff is like kind of dissolving. I couldn't, if I had kids now, I would say college for what? Why would you, that's not even part of the landscape anymore. So, it's just more conditioning. So, but I would say, hey, go ahead and learn electrical. Go ahead and learn a trade. You will always have a job. Those will be some of the last. There's not going to be no AI bot coming out to your place and fixing your plumbing, or fixing your HVAC. That's going to be way down the road, if that ever even happens. Yeah. So That's my recommendation about that. And so that's the thing. It's like, well, where's all the plumbers now? Where's all the HVAC? Where's the next generation? Well, that was like trivialized my whole schooling career. Sort of looked down upon. You got to go to college. And now it's like all these college people with crippling lifetime of debt. For what? And for what? I mean, some of them are utilizing it. I don't want to dog that, but I'm saying that I feel like it was way overemphasized, sold to us back in the day. Yeah. Until now, it's like in life, you just learn so much. Yeah. Big Will Dog says, in essence, most of us have reached an old enough age to start saying things the last generation said about us. I know. There is definitely part of that. However, there has been no generation that has witnessed the amount of change these generations have. This generation. If you're born in the 70s, 80s, you're going to witness the change, monumental levels of change, unlike generations before. It's all quickening. The rate of change is happening so fast that literally the world that your parents grew up in, if they're in their 60s or 70s now, the world they grew up in is not really the world that is here now in terms of society. It's not the same world. I mean, the skill set is different. The way to survive is all different and increasingly different. So it's and now here again, I know every generation is like, well, no, but I really mean it. When I was young, blah blah blah. And here I am saying the same exact thing. No, but this time it's for real. Well, Taylor Reindl, $20. Thank you for the contribution, my friend. Says for the Viking channels. Yes. Thrive like a Viking. We're going to start doing travel like a Viking again. I'm going to make some more headway on that this winter. Yes, Jerry, you would know. Says most students at college level have no tool experience, not even a drill. Yeah, and this is true. I know. No experience like that. You have to have like you want to have a basic background knowledge of all sorts of things, because then that will enable you to learn newer things much easier. I was talking with my friend down in Tennessee, the family there who's become great friends now, and he builds barns for a living, and he's got a great successful barn building operation. And so we were talking, and I was like, you know what, if it's like because he's learning all this about gardening, growing, soil food web, all these practices. He loves to learn all that stuff. And so we were talking about learning things. And I was like, but if you have a background base of knowledge, it helps you learn things so much faster. For example, he was talking about teaching people to build barns. I said, okay, if you take someone and you want to teach them to build a barn, and they are already super handy with tools, and they know how to run a circular saw, they know about a square, they know about how to tighten up things. I mean, they're handy already. How much faster will they learn how to build a barn than someone who has no idea what a tool, what a drill or a level or any of that kind of stuff even is? That person will, forget about it. It will take forever, and it won't be that good. But a person already with the background knowledge can pick up on that real quick. Oh yeah, okay, I get it, yeah. And they'll learn real fast. And so you can have like a background knowledge about mostly everything, so that you can learn many things faster that way. Like not just AI, but AGI, artificial general intelligence. We have general intelligence. Although many people are not generally intelligent. Yes, Pepper Gardner, the online world has changed so much. Yeah, from the 90s when it was like, hey, who's on the phone? I'm trying to download a website. And it takes you a half hour for some little pixelated thing, and someone gets on the phone and jumps you off of AOL. Yeah, that was not that long ago. And it was like the internet for what? But now it's like, could you imagine living your life without the internet? I know you think you could, but most of you have to use the internet in ways that you're not even aware of. It's yes. Stephanie Stevens says the youth should watch all your channels. And for building using available earth materials, Martin Douliard. He's your age. Wow. Okay. I want to. Can someone put that in the comments or something afterwards? Because I want to look that up. So let me just give me a second. I gotta access my AI device real quick. Whoops. And I gotta make a note about that. I literally have to. Okay, Martin Douliard. Okay, thank you. Because I want to look that up. Yeah, Sam Pot's like, hey, let's jump on AIM. Yes. Daniel Henry says, I love the Travel Like a Viking stuff. Looking forward to it. All right. Yes. We're only a year into the 10-year Odyssey, and so on that channel. And so we are going to I think we're currently in Vietnam, and it's a time when I was about to go back to the island and meet up with, yes. Yes. So yeah, if you guys haven't watched that stuff, go ahead and watch the Travel Like a Viking. If you like, it's like a series, you know, they're like little episodes where I act out and tell about the 10-year odyssey that I had traveling the world. And this was before the time of phones and unlimited storage and stuff like that. When I was started traveling, I was we had just gotten digital cameras, and so I was carrying 500 megabyte memory cards, and I would in my huge camera, and I would unplug it and then take it to a internet cafe and then burn those pictures to a CD and then literally mail the CD back to my mom. And that's how I secured all my pictures in the beginning. But then technology advanced so fast, it was unreal. But now you just, they have 1 terabyte phones. Terabyte phones. And you can just take unlimited videos and all that kind of stuff. I'm so happy that social media was not around. I mean, it was around, but not really when I was traveling. Oh man, I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy it happened the way it did. Because you're traveling now and the whole thing's turned into it like a character. You think you're a big character now, and everyone's got to have it's just so different. So different. Donald Hughes says, built my house from the ground up. Had to go to the library to learn how to do everything. So much easier now with the internet. It really is. It's amazing. The University of YouTube, if you need to know how to do something, bam. Luz Hilaro, $2. Thank you for the support, my friend. I appreciate this. It says, let's celebrate their first Super Live on a live stream. Thank you, my friends, celebrating. So the let us see here. The okay, so guys, do you remember when like this is called Indian corn? Do you remember this used to be called decoration corn? I mean, it still is now. It's like, oh, that's Indian corn, or oh, that's just for decoration. My whole childhood, it was like, oh, that's just decoration corn. No, that's not decoration corn. That's like the original corn. This is the corn that you grind into cornmeal and stuff, and you make hominy, and you can make Johnny cakes, and you can make all kinds of different stuff. And it lasts for a long, long time. Yeah. So you can shuck this kind of corn. This might be like a glass gem or a painted mountain. I forget exactly. But you can. This is a really small ear, by the way. And you can shuck this stuff and put it into the Vitamixer and just blast it on high and turn it into a cornmeal and use it for grits. And for grits, I like to just boil this stuff with pretty much in milk. Boil it in milk or some water to dilute it a little bit, and then put butter and maple syrup. That's how I like it. I don't really get into the savory grits. I'm not really into the some people put like salt, pepper, hot sauce, and all that stuff. And I know it's like a cult-like religious thing in the South. Grits are. I mean, that's what I mean. So they do it a specific way, and they'll say that's not how you eat grits, you Yankee. And so, well, okay, that's how I eat grits, though, literally. So it is what it is. And remember, for thousands of years, one of the staples of the indigenous peoples in the Americas was corn. And it was not sweet corn, and it was not genetically modified Monsanto corn, and it was not corn syrup. It was this kind of corn, give or take. It was dried corn ground into things. Tons of nutrients, very good for you. Tons of fibers, just very, very good for you. It was the sustenance of life. I mean, if you read certain things, and it exemplifies how corn was the major calorie crop all the way from like Maine down to Argentina. I mean, like the whole way, all the indigenous peoples were growing corn, and they were not growing Monsanto corn. I can tell you that. They were growing stuff like this. Yeah. So Keith Scott says, been in the South all my life. Hate grits. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Mountainside says, LOL, that's not for decorating, that's for eating. I always wondered as a child if you could eat that corn. I was under the impression that you couldn't. I know. As a child, I always thought, what's corn though? What do you mean? It's only for decoration and stuff. But then, of course, I would try, oh my God, no, I guess you can't eat it. I had no idea because we were only used to sweet corn or corn from a frozen bag. But this is very good kind of corn. And it stores. You could just do it like this, and it will store for years like this. A long time. But I tell you what, the rats love it. So you better not get you no rats. Ooh, yeah. H. Witt says, I stone grind blue corn. Lots of flavor. Now, I've always wanted to try the blue corn. I never have. I always wanted to try some, never have. Like the blue Hopi corn, I think it's called. Yeah, Brian Airy says, Nate just killed a whole bunch of Southerners. Yeah, I know. They're like, what? Blasphemous. Grits has to be eaten in this exact particular way. No. Keith Scott says, I think glass gem is also popcorn. Yes, you can pop it, definitely. Although the older that it gets, the less capable of popping, the more duds that you'll have. Popcorn is best freshly, fresher, because it's the moisture in the inside that expands really rapidly that makes it pop like that. So after it gets to a certain point, it won't really pop anymore. You'll see. Big Will Dog says, I joined the military in order to learn a trade to use in the outside world. Didn't pan out how I wanted, but you can still succeed without college these days. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely you can. Now, if you want to go to college for a particular thing, that's understandable perfectly. More power to you. It's great. But the illusion that I was sold as a kid that you won't make anything of your life unless you go to college, and it really was that way. The propaganda at that time was really pushing for that is just not true anymore. Because now you can, with the online things, you can start so many different things. If you know how to, well, at least up to this point, I don't know about tomorrow with AI, but if you know how to create content, if you know how to advertise, if you know how to monetize your capabilities, so many things, start a business, or so many different things you can do online using that tool. And you can, lots of different things. Wayne Corelli says, I don't like the camera profile. Yeah, no, neither do I. But we're going to try and see if the AI gods will smile upon us with this podcast. And then I will know for sure if they are really discriminating against those that use the landscape mode. Yeah? We don't want none of that, do we? But yeah, we will see. We will see if it is. But I definitely don't like this mode either, but we just got to do it right now. Let's see here. Miller says storage practices would be a great topic for a live. Definitely. Yes. That should I should do a actual video about that. Tango Down says, what varieties of grain corn would you recommend? I'm always a fan of glass gem corn because it typically produces really well. And it gets really big and it looks amazing and it stores a long time. The flavor is great. Now, although if you live south of or if you live north of pretty much Indiana, then you might want to, you will want to grow something. If you're in a shorter growing season, you'll want to grow something like painted mountain corn. I like that one because it only gets about 4 feet tall, 5 feet tall, and then produces. So it doesn't have to spend so much time. The glass gem can get 9, 10 feet tall, real tall, big plants. And it spends a lot of time producing an infrastructure that you wouldn't have in like Canada or the North, some places in Montana and stuff. So you can grow glass gem corn, which has been designed to grow quickly. Yes. Wayne Corelli says, terrible for show and tell. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Meyer Lemon says, Nate, what's the best variety of corn to grow in limited space, raised beds? Painted mountain corn. Yes, it's small, produces good. In my opinion, I'm sure there's others, but I've grown that before and I know. Graham, what's up, my friend? Says they call graduation in college gradual indoctrination. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's why they want you to spend more and more time in the schooling system. Um, is that right? Taida says chat is much more difficult with the vertical format on mobile. Yeah, okay, okay. That's good to know. We're not going to do the vertical profile. This is just an experiment to see. Yeah, just an experiment to see. Um, what was I just going to say? So, guys, look, from the same plant, all right, we can get different things. All right, this is a honey nut squash. Okay, I grew the honey nut squash out of the compost bin. Now, this is a typical size for the honey nut. It's like a butternut except sweeter and much smaller. But each plant produces like 20 of these, a lot. All right, but you can get such great variation on the same plant. I got this one, literally on the same plant. I got this one. So there's such huge variation. Now I could say, well, see, look, my honey nut plant, look at this. This is the Viking nutrients right there. You see what it's doing? Look how big these are. But that would just be false because you can get this. I grew it out of the compost pile, which is, it doesn't get better than that, or more nutritious than that. And so this thing was amazing up until we had 10 weeks without a drop of rain. And it just suffered terribly. But they still produced. I never watered these, ever. It was amazing. And they grew luscious, and we had some rain in the spring, and then just dry for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. Now, that's not to say, I am going to grow some next year, though, utilizing only the Viking nutrients, just to see, But I already know. I already know. It's amazing. So, but if you don't have the compost pile, then you can use other amendments, of course. But this is an example of showing you that even in the same plant, you can get such wild variation between the two. This is what you're supposed to be getting off honey nuts. This is even a little bit small, but this is totally ridiculously absurd. This is like not. I think it's because I've been saving my own seeds for so many years now, and in the past, I've been growing them alongside the Tahitian melon squash, the Viking battle squash now, and they all just kind of mold into other things. Because this is reminiscent of a Tahitian melon, of a miniature Tahitian melon, more so than the honey nut. It's like it took this and just went. Boop. So do we prefer this one or this one? Let me know in the comments. Donald Hughes says, does a squash taste the same, the different size? Basically, yes. I mean, the squash tastes relatively the same. It depends a lot on how you prepare them. So you'd have to do a side-by-side thing. Yes, B. Hendricks, Viking Nutrients. Yes, my friend, those will be available probably late January. We're gonna have a bunch of them available if it's what you want. So, and it's happening. I mean, everything's here. It's happening. So it's for sure. There will be, but we're not gonna sell another thing until the website gets here. Until we formulate the website, everything will be directed through that. Yes. hmm Jerry Bates says half of college is who you meet. Yeah, very true. Yeah, understandable. And remember, I mean, I'm not dogging college. I'm just saying that it didn't pan out to be the save all, end all that was fed to me when I was young and my generation. Yeah. Um, Val says, hey, Nate, besides using Tahitian melon squash in soup, how else can it be cooked? Baked, fried? Definitely baked. You can, like for Thanksgiving several years, I will take everyone's got to bring something. So you can take the whole Tahitian melon squash, slice it lengthwise, real carefully, scoop out the seeds, and then you can put them cut side up and roast them in the oven. And you can roast it in the oven. You can sprinkle. It depends how you like it, though. You have to try it several ways first. Roast it, but if you like it savory with salt and pepper and a little bit of cumin, some paprika, some smoked paprika, definitely. If you're making the smoked paprika like this, then crush it up and put it on there. Or how I like it, of course, I've got a sweet palate. And so how I like it is to sprinkle some brown sugar and some cinnamon and some nutmeg. A little bit of salt to enhance the flavor, but that's good. Or some maple syrup, definitely. Yeah. Or some maple sugar, definitely. All that, and then roast it. Yes. Very good. Very good that way. You can also fry it. Yes. You can cube it up and fry it. And that is also really good. Fabrizio says, I'm planning on doing the original master cleanse soon. The purpose, besides cleansing, is to regain that impermeable focus I felt last time I did it. I need it because I'm in my last semester. Ooh, yes, definitely. Definitely do that, guys. If you're feeling brain fogs and if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling less than vibrantly alive, it could be toxemia, a buildup of toxins in your system. Very likely, actually, that most of you, if you're not used to the cleansing lifestyle, uh, uh, then you're gonna have all kinds of toxins in you, endocrine disruptors, phthalates, microplastics, but also actual impacted fecal matter into the colon. All these things, okay? So you can do something like the Master Cleanse, and that will really cleanse out your system and give you a whole different feeling on life. It's like I'm saying, even if you're driving a Ferrari and you never change the oil, you never put air in the tires, you never change the air filter, you use garbage gas, then after a while, it's going to run like crap, even though it's a Ferrari and it could run amazingly. If you don't change the stuff and maintain it and clean out its systems, it's going to run like garbage. So it's a similar, I mean, obviously very different, but similar concept with the body. You need to clean out its regenerative capabilities from time to time. And once you get a fresh tune-up, then bam, you just feel fantastic. Sylvia Flores says, yes, it's not gradual. They're aggressive about indoctrination. That's absolute. Yeah, it's not gradual indoctrination. They're super, in my opinion, colleges, super aggressive indoctrination right from the get-go. But that doesn't mean it's not for you. Maybe you like that kind of thing. Um, yes, okay, honey nut squash. That's right. I forgot about that. But I think it's still considered an heirloom though. I think it's uh H. Witt says honey nut squash is a hybrid of a butternut squash. Saved seeds won't produce the same. I know it is a hybrid, but I think that it is stabilized. I think it's either open pollinated or heirloom now. I could have swore they were selling it in the Baker Creek, and I think Baker Creek only sells heirloom. I could be wrong though. Um, I think so. So because the first couple of years that I never got a single. I always got these the same exact thing from the same exact plants. But then I started growing the Tahitian melon squash up in the mix and some Jarradale squash and stuff, um, and then I started getting these. So it leads me to believe it has something to do with that. Let's see here. Okay, Stephanie says, question. I just sprinkled cinnamon around garden beds for any prevention. True? There's all kinds of philosophies about that being true. Now, I can't say for sure either way. I've done it, and I can't say that I've really can tell if it is or not. More experimentation is needed on my end, and I'm not going to say that it does or it doesn't until I can get some kind of experience with it. And so Meyer Lemon says, Nate, what's the best way to preserve roasted peppers? Whew. Peppers, the only way that I found to preserve them is to dehydrate them or to ferment them into a paste. You can do that as well. But other than that, freezing, canning, I've never had good results. They just turn to mush no matter what. And so it's not what I want from peppers. But here is two awesome methods that I utilize. And these are the smoked and then dehydrated. These are straight up just dehydrated. These are a hodgepodge of different kinds of peppers because this year was the year of experimentation with peppers. So I wanted to try many different kinds of peppers to branch out a little bit, and so it's led me to the understanding that the Ivarsky pepper is by far the best pepper for making smoked paprika. It just is neutral smoked paprika, and the Lutschauer is going to be the new pepper for the spicy Hungarian paprika. But all the other varieties, I mean, you can smoke and dehydrate any peppers and turn them into powder, but some of them hold on to the flavor a lot better. And some of them have like a buttery, soft flavor and smell to them. The Ivarsky is the way to go. It holds on to that smoke flavor for a whole year. You know, I have some Ivarskys up there, a small batch from last year, and they still smell smokier and sweeter and more buttery and delicious than the fresh batch of random tons of. This is like 10 different kinds of peppers in this batch. It still smells better. These aren't holding on to the smoke. All the other practices were the same. And the paprika doesn't taste the same. When they still smell good, it's still gonna work. It's better than nothing. But next year I'm growing a whole bed. We're gonna have 12 huge beds out there. I'm growing a whole bed of Ivarsky peppers to make tons of paprika. Okay, can't see the forest says honey nut is a stabilized cultivar derived from an interspecific hybrid. Okay, there we go. That's what I like. I thought it was stabilized, yes, because I typically don't grow just straight up hybrids, except for peppers. I will do that. Meyer Lemon says, how long did they take in the dehydrator? Well, I smoked them and then put them in the dehydrator for at least like 18 hours. I liked everything to be bone dry. 18 hours at 140, even 135. I like a low temperature. It holds on to the most flavor. Okay. Okay, my friends, looks like our time together has come to an end for today. So I will see you guys right here next week, and we will be back to the landscape mode and Let me know if you've got video topic ideas. Join the Viking Discord chat that's in the description, and show us some pictures of your garden. Show us some recipes. Show us what you're cooking. And we got lots of people sharing their cooking, their pictures of what they're eating. Put it all into the Discord chat. It's like a database of experiential knowledge. Yeah, we don't have the AI there, and we're never going to accept for the AI to be there. We're never going to. So that's what that is. And I will see the Thrive Like a Viking Tribe on Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. We're probably going to discuss the amazing concepts in this book, entropy. And so we will discuss that probably, but we'll see when it comes close. And do all your shopping on Amazon through the link in the description. It doesn't matter what you buy on there. Just get to Amazon through the link in the description, and we will get the credit for it. I appreciate everyone that is doing that. And I still haven't heard back from Enoch about the thing. Oh, I just did. Okay, hold on one second. Enoch says, Nate, I haven't heard back from Mark about a possible postponement. So at this time, we will proceed with the show tomorrow unless he lets me know sometime today. I again apologize. Yes. Okay. So probably, I guess we're going to do it. He says, so we will proceed with the show tomorrow unless he lets me know sometime today. Okay. So as of right now, we are going to proceed with the show with Mark tomorrow, which I put it in the description, but I think it will be at 12, 1, I think it'll be 3:30 Eastern time. Yeah? Let me just check real quick because we got to make sure. Let me just check. Whoops. So it's going to, yes, Sunday, November 3rd, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's going to be 3:30 p.m. Our time. Yes, here we go. Check it out. Okay, guys, we will see everybody tomorrow.